Also, it's a monumental evening. It's the first time we've had a two-day draft. It's the first time we are now seeing a father-son duo playing in the NBA. Woj, you can best contextualize this. We've never seen something like this. Bronny and LeBron James, teammates in Los Angeles.
Listen, and, Bob talked about this. Bronny James, the way he has worked, the way he has prepared himself, there's never been any sense of entitlement with him. He has never carried himself that way on every team he's been on, whether it was in high school, travel basketball, with the U.S. team last year in the Nike Summit. Only a great teammate. Guys love playing with him. And it says so much about how he was raised, how he sees the game, what he learned from not just his father, being around the NBA game. There are lots of sons and daughters of NBA players who've learned those traits. He's another one. But again, to not just be able to play with LeBron James in the NBA, but to do it while his father is still an all-NBA player. There's nobody left from LeBron James's draft class. They're all gone. And he's still an all-NBA player.
I think one of the important things to bring up is what, what you brought up in regards to the nepotism, because I don't want to hear it either. And I really appreciate and applaud you for bringing it up, because you hear people mumbling about that in the weeks and the days leading up to the draft. It is something that has permeated throughout the NBA for quite some time, okay? And on all levels. And no one has said anything. It's never been an issue that I can remember. I've been covering the NBA for a quarter century. This man has been around just as long, if not longer. Don't talk to me about nepotism being something new. It's been here. Nobody said anything before. Shut the hell up now.
Pretty incredible. I want to zero back in, though, on Bronny James, because this is monumental. It's historic. And we're going to get to see Bronny James on the floor for the first time in Summer League. But what are your realistic expectations as you look toward a rookie year that's going to be under a microscope like no other?
I certainly don't expect him to play. I expect him to be in their developmental program, whatever that entails. That's where he belongs. And I'll tell you why he belongs there, because even though we've already chronicled the reasons as to why that may have been the case, we only averaged less than 5 points a game, the cardiac arrest last summer, not playing in college until January. Woj brought up a very, very important point in terms of psychologically the kind of effect that could have on you. You take a deep breath, for crying out loud, you might be scared. I mean, that's an adjustment to make, and we understand that. But now that you're in the NBA and you're on this level, you shouldn't want to be out there until you're ready. And so it's one of those situations where you take them under your wing and you expose them to whatever developmental program Pelinka and J.J. Redick and all of those guys are going to have in store, and you do it that way. Plus, like you said, the facilities are pretty much the same, and he'll be right near his dad. And obviously his dad is an incredible teacher to learn from.
Well, if you're managing this, though, Bob, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you have a first-year head coach. You are saying that you want Anthony Davis to feel emboldened on this team. But any team that LeBron James is a part of, we know what the voices in the locker room, the pecking order is there. You just drafted that said player's son into the NBA. How do you manage all of that?
Well, I managed some tough stuff, but that's a different one. Look, I always did, Malika, if I saw a potential issue, I would go right at it. So I might sit LeBron James down and say, listen, our plan is to coach him and treat him like we would any rookie. I assume that's good. If you have something to say about that, let's talk about it. Now, I assume he would say, yes, treat him like you do anybody else on this team. Don't treat him differently. I'd almost go out of my way to say that, because I assume that's what Bronny wants. He doesn't want to walk in a locker room and feel like he's getting preferential treatment as a rookie. Even him, if you're JJ, you sit down and say, listen, I might even be harder on you. Just understand that. It might not be fair, but I'm not going to have anyone saying that I'm taking it easy on you. You turn it over in practice, I'm going to say something to you. You do something on film, I'm going to say something to you. That's the only way it works, because as we all know, and you've been around teams, the second the rules are different for him, you might lose the other players on the team. So you have to go into this with a plan. But the plan is simple, Malika. Do the right thing. The right thing is coach him. Coach him to win. When he does something wrong, correct him. When he's out of line, which I don't expect him to be, tell him. And that's all you can really do.
Bob, how much of this is a shared process between the front office and a new head coach? This is Rob Pelinka and J.J. Redick and his coaching staff managing this whole situation?
Well, I started out when I took the job with the Warriors. There was 2 beat writers. Your sister wasn't there. I think it was Marcus Thompson and Rusty said there was nobody. My wife said, "Is there going to be media?" I said, "No, nobody cares. It's the Warriors," and nobody did care. When I left, we had people embedded in the organization. We were covered daily, and what I found out was I had to spend so much time, as would anybody that works for the Los Angeles Lakers, every single day. And the example I used was, you walk into a bonsai tree every day and you snip it. Every single day it needs attention. It's not a cactus. So the way I did it, when you asked me, was what needs to be addressed today? Is that your body language? You're upset? Why are you upset? What's going on with you? You think you deserve more? Malika, I noticed in practice, every single day, that's how I did it. But everybody does it differently. It's just managing human beings. And it's a lot. You're managing a rock star band in the Los Angeles Lakers, but everybody does it differently.
We've got all the laudables out of the way for Bronny James, right? We know he's a good kid. You know, he works hard. We wish him nothing but the best. Fine, we got that out the way, right? There's something that we haven't brought up enough. What's next season going to be like for LeBron James? Hear me out. Your son is now a member of the team. Regardless of how wrong we know people are going to be, they're going to be throwing nepotism in LeBron's face. They're going to be throwing, to some of the teammates. Remember, Udonis Haslem said weeks ago, you're going to have people in the Laker locker room once J.J. Redick arrived, because it's not just Bronny James that's arrived. It's J.J. Redick, who you were doing the podcast with during the season, that arrived. Regardless of the fact that LeBron James had nothing to do with that or what have you, the bottom line is a lot of people are not going to believe that. You're going to get bombarded with questions about that. Then you're going to have people with a cynical eye in the locker room because everybody ain't happy for you. Let me tell you something. When you're that great, when you're that accomplished, jealousy and envy follow. It is the bottom line. All of those things. How is LeBron? This might be one of the more challenging seasons LeBron has had psychologically, because he might cut some people out too.
Well, and we also have to wonder, okay, playing with his son is a goal that he stated he wanted to achieve before it was the end of his career. And so what does that look like now? I do want to go to Los Angeles now and bring in our reporter covering the Lakers, Dave McMenamin. Dave, what can you tell us about how the James family found out about this and what their reaction is now that LeBron and Bronny are teammates?
Yeah, Malika, I'm told that the James family and some of their closest friends and confidants, including Rich Paul, of course, Gloria James, LeBron's mother, and Savannah's parents as well, gathered for an intimate dinner in New York City today to await what was going to happen with the second round. And when they got the call from the Lakers, LeBron James had a champagne toast to everyone there. I'm told it was less than 20 people. And sources tell me he got very emotional in considering the weight of the moment, not just the history for the NBA, the first time you have a father-son duo playing together, and not just the history for the James family being that father and son duo, but really the journey for Bronny James. You think back, it's less than a year ago, last July, where he suffered that cardiac incident. And that was a very serious time, very touch and go for the James family. And here they are together, having one of the most joyous days they've ever experienced, with Bronny being able to complete his goal of playing in the NBA.
Dave, thank you so very much. A 4:30 dinner. You know,
I like that.
Some people are into that. Dave, we appreciate that. But yeah, getting back to kind of what Stephen A. was saying, I think that given what Dave said, gathering, celebrating, I can only imagine how emotional that was. You do have to take into account what this looks like now for LeBron, and he has a lot to contemplate.
Well, what is a parent, what is any stronger, what pulls at you more than your children? I don't think anything. I don't think anything in the world matters to a parent more than their child. And so to go through a season with your son, I'm imagining no one's ever really, there's no blueprint for that. I don't know that anybody's ever done that. So there will be some amazing highs and there will be some lows. And I guess, I mean, I've never seen somebody navigate stardom maybe as well as LeBron James did. It has, from 18 years old, with the expectations that he has wielded and borne and stood up to being an ambassador for the NBA as well as he has. If anybody can do it, it's him. But even the most peaceful people, even the most measured people, when you talk about their family, that's hard. And it's emotional. But that's okay, that's life. I would hope that the people like you, Stephen A., who are unbelievably powerful in the media, you are doing the right, I think you are saying the right things. But there are going to be people that take an approach that is not measured and attack this to try to get attention. Because LeBron's been dealing with that his whole life, though. I mean, people come at him to elevate themselves, and he's managed it as well as anybody ever could.
Well, look, go ahead, Woj.
I need a drink of water.
Okay, I got you covered.
He's emotional.
I got you covered.
I'm not emotional. I got you covered. I need water.
Choking a little.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
Wow, you did. The one time.
Set me up.
No, time out.
I did it. I swear I did it.
Woj, the one time he deferred, you weren't ready. The one time.
No, I didn't know.
When you play with Stephen A., you're not expecting
the pass. Yeah,
right.
You're
You expect the ball.
He doesn't pass. He jumps up in the air. We want to go. One time.
I was just trying to go to the offensive boards here.
We were trying to box out for
I got my bad. My bad. Listen, here's the deal. When you look at LeBron, it's going to be an incredible challenge because there are so many times over the years he's been so adroit, so exceptionally so at biting his tongue. And you know, Bob, you bring up a very valid point. It's one thing to do that for yourself. How you gonna do that if somebody's coming after your son? And that's where the Lakers are going to have to step in and be very, very mindful and cognizant of it and responsible for it. Now, we could say what we want about the Lakers organization and debate stuff back and forth in terms of some decisions that may have been made and not made over the last decade or so or what have you. But the one thing we can consistently give them credit for is they go out of their way as an organization to protect their own. They do that.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be a very unique challenge for the organization as you facilitate the growth, the tutelage, the development of a Bronny James. But if anybody as an organization is equipped to handle it because they pride themselves on being family-like, it's the Los Angeles Lakers franchise, in my opinion.
And J.J. Redick, who has, as a coach, already sort of taken the position that he believes that part of his job is to protect, and that is going to be on display in this situation. Hey, Magic Johnson, he tweeted about Bronny James headed to the Los Angeles Lakers, but now that the 2024 draft is completed, as you can see here, he says congratulations to Bronny James on being drafted by the Lakers. A historic moment, of course, because it's the first father-son duo. Watching Bronny suit up for the Lakers during Summer League in, who knows, it's magical what he said the last couple of, he's looking forward to seeing that.